Just want to introduce myself real quick. I'm Patrick Smith. I'm the Vice President of Sales for RealAcoustix. I've been at RealAcoustix now for about a year. Enjoyed my year there. It's a great company, great products. So I'm going to turn the camera off during the presentation just so you can be watching the slides instead of me. I know everybody wants to watch my pretty face, but we'll just put it on the slides anyway. All right. So today we're just going to go over the RealQuad series. We're relaunching the RealQuad series. This is a product that we've had for most of the time that we've been in business. But we just wanted to do a relaunch back out to the market, kind of a refresher for everybody to remember that we have this product and see if there's any questions that we haven't been able to answer in the past for people. And they just kind of get back top of mind for everybody. Some of the stuff we've done, full product launch out to the marketplace. We've updated some of our literature and web pages for this product. And then again, like I said, just to make sure that everybody's fully aware of our product. So what is the RQS line, or the RealQuad Studio series? It's a series of one-dimensional quadratic residue diffusers. If you're not familiar with one-dimensional versus two-dimensional, basically one-dimensional means it diffuses in the horizontal plane. Two-dimension is horizontal and vertical. The RQS series is based on the research of Manfred Schroeder. Schroeder was doing his studies back in the 70s, and he's considered pretty much the authority on sound diffusion. What he based his studies on were all prime numbers, basing the residue off the prime numbers. So whether it's a 5, 7, 11, 13, 19, what have you. We'll go into that a little bit too. Basically, the goal of the RealQuad Studio series is to create a better sounding room, make it try to sound the way that either the artist or the speaker or whoever is producing the sound just want to make it sound the way that they intended it to sound. The RealQuad Studio series has products that will meet the needs of rooms anywhere from just a small studio, small home theater, all the way up to a large concert hall, auditorium, and really anywhere in between. We have a product that should meet the needs of each of those different spaces. So just to talk a little bit about prime numbers, the quadratic residue, what it does is it helps us in breaking up the waves, and it just creates a more uniform sound field. So the choice of a prime number, it just helps to minimize the repeating patterns in the diffuser design, and that's essential for wideband sound diffusion. So the irregularity enhances the scattering of the sound waves and making it less likely for echoes and other standing waves to form. So in essence, using a larger prime number is going to increase the effectiveness of the diffuser, so it allows for a wider range of quadratic residues. Because of that, it gives you a more complex scattering pattern, which to the human ear just means it's going to sound better. Most of the prime numbers using QRDs, like I mentioned before, start at 5. They go up to 19 or 23. Really, anything beyond 23 is just impractical because our ears just can't hear it. Give you an idea of what prime numbers, how they correlate to the different cells. A prime 5 diffuser is going to have 6 cells with 3 different depths, whereas a prime 11 is going to have 5 different depths. And that just allows for the sound waves to go into the diffuser and get further in and then bounce back out at a more balanced wave. So the greater the variety of depths, the higher the prime number is going to be. And then that allows just for greater phase mixing and allows for more frequencies to be handled also by the QRDs. And again, like I said, it just allows the listener to hear what was intended to be heard. So what I have here is just a couple little videos to show you the difference between 1 dimension and 2 dimension, and then just show you how well these diffusers balance the sound. So this first video is going to show you on the left, it's a 1-dimensional diffuser, and on the right is a 2-dimensional diffuser. So I'll go ahead and click on that. You can see as the sound goes in and comes back out, it's very balanced. And then I'm going to show another one here This one is based off of what we call our clear Q, so that's why it looks clear here. But when you're watching this, just watch the green. You'll notice the green, which is representing the bass frequencies. It's going to bounce off the front of the diffuser almost as if it's a flat wall, because of the size of the sound waves of low frequencies. It can't go down into the cells. But then you're going to notice some red dots, and those are going to represent your higher frequencies. You'll see them going into the diffuser and then coming back out at a balanced with a balanced pattern. You'll see that better here in just a second. So I'll just pause there. As you can see here, it allows for the bass, the high frequencies, whatever frequencies, to come back out at that very balanced pattern. And again, using the higher prime numbers is going to give you a better balance like this. So what we found is most of the competitive diffusers stop at prime 7. So that is under your less efficient diffusers. While we do offer some prime 7 diffusers, we do that primarily just to meet some specs that are in the market. Sometimes people specifically specify a prime 7 diffuser, so we want to make sure that we have a product that will meet that. Most of our diffusers, however, they're going to be in the prime 11, 13, and 19. And it just means that our diffusers are going to do a better job at the phase mixing. So it's going to create a better experience for the listener. A little bit on the quality. All of our RQS products were designed in-house. The founder of RealAcoustix was Richard Lenz, who is an acoustician, a well-renowned acoustician in the industry. He designed all the RQS diffusers. And on top of that, they're all manufactured in-house. So we're based in Ogden, Utah. We have a great woodworking facility there, so everything that we make with these is all done in-house. We cut down the panels, put them together. Everything is done right there. A lot of the others are going to outsource their manufacturing, and we just feel like it gives us a better way to control the quality. We also have the ability to do some customization with our diffusers, and we have a large variety. So I mentioned that we started prime 7. We actually have a plastic product that starts at prime 5, so we can get all the way down to that, and then we go all the way up to the 19, and then offering different custom solutions. So I'm going to show you here. This is going to be on our website now. This is a comparison with all the different diffusers that we have. So you'll notice on here that most of them, they're mostly going to start at 23 5/8 inches wide. That's one area that we don't customize because the width does really play a lot with the diffusion. If you need a wider product to fit on a wall, then we would recommend just stacking them side by side to do that. We can, however, vary the heights. That's not a problem. We've even had some people ask us to do them without the caps on the tops and the bottoms so that they can trim them in field. That's something that we can do as well. On here, you'll see that the different prime sequences are notated on this comparison. So this page starts with the RQS 250, which is one of our larger diffusers. It's designed for large venues, rehearsal halls, concert venues, and stops at the 450 FX, which I want to point out real quick on that one. You can't see it very well in here, but on the 450 FX, it actually has some flutter. Some of the cells have some flutter panels in them as well to help address any kind of flutter echoes that may be happening. So I'm going to go to the next screen to show the next group of products. So we have the RQS 500, 800, and 1000. And then the one on the end there, the TF1X, is our plastic thermoformed product that primarily is for drop ceilings. One error that we have on here that we do have fixed on our website is the RQS 800 is actually an 18-inch width, but you'll notice that they still are prime 11, 5, 11, 5. Then in our customization, we do have the ability to use different woods, different stains. Not too many people use a solid wood, but I'll get into that more here in just a minute. Talk a little bit about the model numbers. You noticed on that comparison that they all had a model number. Those model numbers, that refers to the frequency cutoff or the low frequency cutoff. So anything that's going to be, like the 1000, that's going to have a very high frequency, low cutoff, where the 250 goes all the way down to 250. We don't recommend to put diffusers in rooms that are over 200 feet long or wide. By the time that you get to 200 feet, the sound is fully phased at that point, so there's really not much of a point for a diffuser. There are other solutions for rooms that are that big, such as reflective panels and such. The diffusers are not designed for absorption. That's actually quite the opposite of what they're designed for, and especially bass absorption. We're not trying to capture any bass in these things. And then each diffuser is going to have the different depths, and the different depths are going to address the specific needs, primarily with the frequencies and what the frequencies are needing to be addressed. And those different frequencies are addressed through the different depths, and that's because of the different wavelengths that you have. Did mention just a second ago, talk about it again, the RQS is available in many different veneer and paint options. So we can do this in MDF and paint it, or we can put just a huge variety of veneer options. We can stain the veneers as well if you need us to do that. We can do solid wood. They are very expensive to do in solid wood, so we don't get too many people asking for that. Most of them are going to be done in the veneers. We can customize each panel, like I said before, to different heights, but we cannot do the widths because that changes the diffusion. And then you can use these side by side, and you can see in this picture here, you've got, this is actually, I believe, a 2 foot by 2 foot diffuser panel. So you can see we've stacked 3 on top of each other and then gone 3 wide. So that's an example of what we can do with these. All of our diffusers are Class A fire rated. It's important, obviously, in some of the commercial facilities that these are going into. That's usually required by code. Easy wall installation. You can use Z-clips and Z-bars to install these. And then they're also designed to be hung in a ceiling grid. Obviously, you would need a reinforced heavyweight application for that, but it can be done. And you can hang it on a drywall ceiling using different methods as well. And one thing that you can do with these is you can hang them in alternating patterns if you're trying to get 2-dimensional diffusion. Normally you're going to do 2-dimension on the ceiling, not on the walls, but you can hang them in different alternating patterns to give you that 2-dimensional diffusion. Just to touch real quickly on the plastic line, the RQS TF1. This is a thermoform plastic. It's also Class A fire rated. It does go down to prime 5, and it's designed to at 23 3/4, 23 5/8 to be able to hang in the ceiling. So it's super easy just to drop into a ceiling grid. And you can mount them on the wall if you want. And then the last part of this, and this is the case with any of our plastic products, we can back it with a closed cell foam. That closed cell foam adds rigidity to the panel. And the reason we're doing that is because it's plastic, it can be flexible, and anytime you have flexibility, that can cause bass absorption. And since we're not trying to absorb any bass, some people want to have that extra rigidity. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate your time. Have a good day.